Welcome to Accent Podcast. I'm so glad you're here today. You could be doing anything else right now, but you chose to grow, to learn, to focus. Have you ever felt like you're doing a lot, but achieving very little? Like your mind is always busy, but your results don't reflect your effort? The reason might not be your talent or your time. It could be your focus. Today, we explore something simple yet powerful. The power of focus. When you learn to focus, you take control of your time, your energy, and your life. Let's begin. Part 1. What is focus really? Let's begin our journey into one of the most powerful skills you can ever master. Focus. You may have heard the word focus many times. Teachers say it, bosses demand it. Self-help books repeat it over and over. But what does it actually mean? And more importantly, how can you apply it in your real life? Today, we're diving into the true nature of focus. Not just as a word, but as a life-changing tool. Understanding focus. A simple definition. Focus is the ability to direct your attention and energy toward one thing and ignore everything else that doesn't matter right now. It's like using a flashlight in a dark room. The beam of light doesn't show you everything. It shows you what you choose to look at. The rest fades into the shadows. In real life, focus works the same way. When you focus, you're telling your brain, "This is important, everything else can wait." The brain and focus, a quick look. Let's take a quick look at what science says. Your brain has two important systems when it comes to attention. The default mode network, DMN. This is active when your mind is wandering, daydreaming, or jumping from thought to thought. The central executive network, CAN. This is active when you are focused, problem-solving, and working with purpose. Focus happens when your brain quiets the DMN and activates the CEN. But that takes effort. Focus is not natural in a world full of distractions. That's why it feels hard, because it is. The myth of multitasking. You've probably heard someone say, "I'm good at multitasking." But here's the truth. The brain cannot multitask effectively. When you think you're multitasking, your brain is actually switching between tasks rapidly. And every switch comes at a cost. You lose mental energy. You make more mistakes. You take longer to finish each task. Studies show that multitasking can reduce your productivity by up to 40%. It also increases stress and mental fatigue. So if you want to work smarter, not harder, stop multitasking. Start focusing. Focus versus busyness. Let's clear up a common confusion. Being busy is not the same as being focused. A person can be busy all day, jumping from email to meeting to social media, and still achieve very little. Meanwhile, someone else can spend one focused hour on a clear task and make more progress than others do in 8. Focus is intentional. Busyness is reactive. When you focus, you're in control. When you're busy, you're being controlled by other people's needs, endless tasks, and noise. The feeling of true focus. Think back to a time when you were deeply focused. Maybe you were painting, or writing, or solving a puzzle. Time seemed to disappear. You were in the zone. That state is called flow. In this state, you feel energized and calm. You lose track of time. You do your best work. Focus is the doorway to this magical state. And the good news? It's available to you anytime if you learn how to train it. A real-life story, Warren Buffett and Bill Gates. Here's a famous story you may have heard. At a dinner party many years ago, Bill Gates and Warren Buffett were asked a simple question. What is the #1 factor behind your success? Both of them, without knowing each other's answer, said one word: focus. They didn't say intelligence. They didn't say money. They didn't say luck. They said focus, because they understood something powerful. Success isn't about doing everything. It's about doing the right thing and doing it well. Why focus is a superpower today. In the past, people needed physical strength to survive. Today, we live in an attention economy. That means the most valuable thing isn't strength, it's attention. Every company, app, and platform is fighting for your focus. They want your time, your clicks, your scrolls. But when you give away your attention carelessly, you give away your energy, your potential, and your peace. Learning to focus is like building a shield. It protects your mind from being pulled in 100 directions. And here's the best part. When others are distracted, and you are focused, you move ahead, you grow, you shine. The components of focus. Let's break down focus into simple parts. Clarity. Knowing exactly what you're trying to do. Presence. Being in the moment, not thinking about the past or future. Commitment. Staying with the task, even when it's boring or hard. Elimination. Removing distractions and unnecessary choices. You don't need to be born with these. They're learnable, trainable, and powerful. A simple exercise to try. Want to test your focus right now? Try this. Set a timer for 10 minutes. Choose one simple task, like writing in a journal or reading an article. Turn off all notifications. Sit down, breathe, focus. Don't stop until the timer rings. You'll be amazed how hard it is at first. But over time, it gets easier. And that's how your focus grows. One small step at a time. Final thoughts for today. Focus is not just a tool for work. It's a tool for life. When you focus, you become more than productive. You become present. You connect more deeply with what matters. You stop drifting. You start living with intention. So the next time you feel scattered, overwhelmed, or lost, pause, breathe, and ask yourself, what deserves my full attention right now? That one question can change everything. Part 2. The enemies of focus. In Part 1, we explored what focus really means, how it's not just about attention, but about intention. Today, we take a deeper step, because if you want to protect your focus, you must first know what's trying to steal it. Let's talk about the enemies of focus. The hidden forces that silently break your concentration, drain your energy, and leave you feeling scattered. Enemy number 1. Distractions. The invisible thieves. Distractions are everywhere. They don't always come in big, dramatic ways. Often, they sneak in quietly. A phone buzz. A random notification. A curious thought that pulls you toward YouTube or Instagram. In today's world, distraction is not just common. It's designed. Social media apps, websites, even some work tools. They are built to capture your attention and keep it. Every notification is like a tiny hook. It grabs your mind and pulls it away from what matters. Let's look at an example. Imagine you're writing a report. You're in the zone. Then suddenly, ding, a message from your friend. You check it. It only takes 10 seconds. But your mind? It takes 25 minutes to get back into deep focus, according to studies. Distractions cost more than time. They cost momentum. Dopamine, the chemical behind distractions. Why do we keep checking our phones even when we don't want to? It's because of a brain chemical called dopamine. Dopamine is a reward chemical. You get a small dopamine hit when someone likes your post, when a message arrives, when something new pops up. It feels exciting, addictive. And that's the point. These small, constant hits keep your brain chasing stimulation. Over time, your brain gets used to fast rewards. It starts avoiding slow, deep work, even if that work is meaningful. The result? You struggle to stay focused, because your brain is trained for distraction. Enemy number 2, mental clutter. Distraction isn't always external. Sometimes the enemy lives inside your own mind. Think about this. Have you ever tried to focus, but your brain won't stop talking? You sit down to work, and suddenly your thoughts go like this. Did I reply to that email? What should I eat later? What if this task fails? Oh, I forgot to call Mom. This is mental clutter. A noisy mind full of unorganized, half-finished thoughts. Your brain works like a computer. When too many tabs are open, it slows down. When you carry too many worries, tasks, and reminders in your head, focus becomes impossible. The Zeigarnik effect. There's a psychological reason why unfinished tasks distract you. It's called the Zeigarnik effect. Your brain tends to remember and revisit incomplete tasks more than finished ones. That's why a small to-do you haven't done yet keeps bothering you while you're trying to focus on something else. The solution? Write things down. Use a notebook or app to offload mental clutter. When your brain knows a task is recorded somewhere, it stops bringing it up constantly. Enemy number 3, overwhelm and multitasking. Have you ever felt so overwhelmed by your to-do list that you ended up doing nothing at all? Overwhelm is a major killer of focus. It comes from trying to do too much, too fast, with too little clarity. You jump from task to task, start many things, finish few. And at the end of the day, you feel exhausted, but not accomplished. This leads to shallow work. Checking emails again and again, half listening in meetings. Doing small, easy tasks just to feel busy. The opposite of overwhelm is clarity. When you know your most important task, you can give it your full energy. That's when focus flows naturally. The multitasking myth. Revisited. Let's go deeper into this. Many people still believe multitasking is a skill, but science keeps proving the opposite. Research from Stanford University shows that people who multitask often are more easily distracted, have poorer memory, take longer to switch between tasks. Why? Because your brain wasn't built to do two complex things at the same time. You can walk and talk, that's fine. But try writing an email while attending a Zoom call. Your brain suffers. Real productivity comes not from doing more, but from doing one thing, fully and well. Enemy number 4, lack of purpose. Here's a less obvious enemy, not knowing why you're doing something. Think about a time you had a task, but it felt boring, pointless. You kept delaying it, checking your phone, finding excuses. Lack of purpose kills focus faster than distraction. When something feels meaningless, your brain won't commit. It keeps looking for escape. But when a task feels connected to your goals, your values, or your dreams, you enter flow more easily. You feel engaged, focused. So next time you struggle with focus, ask, why am I doing this? How does this task serve my bigger picture? Even a boring chore can become meaningful if you connect it to a higher goal. Real story, the author who went offline. Let me tell you a short story. A young woman had a dream to write her first novel. She had the idea, she had talent. But every time she sat down to write, she got distracted. Email, news, YouTube, social media. After months of no progress, she made a bold decision. She disconnected her Wi-Fi. She deleted all her social apps for 30 days. She created a writing schedule and followed it. Result? She finished her first draft in 1 month. A year later, her book was published. Was it easy? No. Was it worth it? Absolutely. Sometimes, your dreams depend on how well you protect your focus. How to defend against these enemies. Let's recap the enemies and how to fight them. Enemy defense strategy. Distractions. Turn off notifications, use focus apps. Mental clutter. Write down thoughts, clear your space. Overwhelm prioritized tasks, use to-do lists. Multitasking practice single tasking, time blocking. Lack of purpose. Reflect on your why. Set meaningful goals. You don't need to be perfect. Start with small steps. Win one moment of focus at a time. A question for reflection. Right now, ask yourself, what are the top 3 things that distract you the most every day? Is it your phone? Email? Negative thoughts? Lack of sleep? Identify your enemies. Name them. Because once you see them clearly, you can change the game. Final thought for today. Focus isn't just about pushing harder. It's about clearing the path. You can't drive fast if your road is full of obstacles. In the same way, you can't focus deeply if your mind is full of noise. Remove the noise. Remove the mess. And your natural clarity will rise. In the next part, we'll dive into the daily habits and practices you can use to build laser-sharp focus, just like the world's top performers. So stay tuned, stay present, and remember, your focus is your future. Part 3. How to train your focus daily. In the last episode, we uncovered the enemies of focus, distractions, mental clutter, and the myth of multitasking. But now that you know what's stealing your attention, let's explore how to take it back. Because here's the truth. Focus is not a gift. It's a skill. And like any skill, it can be trained every single day. So today, we dive deep into how to build focus as a habit. How to strengthen it just like a muscle. Focus is a muscle, not a switch. Most people treat focus like a light switch. They think, okay, now I'll concentrate, and expect their mind to instantly obey. But focus doesn't work that way. Focus is more like a muscle. If you haven't trained it, it will feel weak. It will shake, give up, or wander off. The good news? Muscles grow with training. And so does focus. Even if you get distracted easily today, you can become a person with deep, calm attention. If you practice daily. Technique 1. Time blocking. Let's begin with one of the most effective tools. Time blocking. Instead of working when you feel like it, time blocking helps you schedule specific periods of deep work. Here's how it works. Look at your day. Choose 1 or 2 hours when your mind is the most alert. Block that time for one clear task only, no multitasking. Remove all distractions during that block. Take a short break afterward to refresh your mind. You can start small, even just 30 minutes. But treat it like an appointment. Respect that time. Over time, your brain will learn. This is my focus hour. Nothing else matters now. Technique 2. The Pomodoro method. Another popular method is the Pomodoro technique. It's great for people who find it hard to concentrate for long. Here's how it works. Choose a task. Set a timer for 25 minutes. Work with full focus until the timer rings. Take a 5-minute break. After 4 Pomodoros, take a longer break, 15-30 minutes. This method works because it adds a sense of urgency. You're racing the clock, but in a good way. Your mind stays more engaged, and the breaks help you reset. Try this for your next study or work session. You might be surprised how much you get done. Technique 3. Eliminate entry points to distraction. Here's a secret. Most distractions don't come to you. You go to them. You click the app. You open the tab. You check the message. So what if you made those entry points harder to reach? Try these ideas. Move social media apps to a different screen or folder. Log out after each use. Use website blockers like Freedom or Cold Turkey. Keep your phone in another room while working. Wear noise-canceling headphones to block background sounds. Small friction makes a big difference. If it takes even 10 extra seconds to check a distraction, you're less likely to do it. Make focus easy. Make distraction hard. Technique 4. Mindfulness and breath training. Deep focus starts with a calm mind, and mindfulness is the best way to develop that inner stillness. Mindfulness is the practice of observing your thoughts without judging them and gently bringing your attention back to the present. A simple breathing exercise. Sit quietly for 5 minutes. Close your eyes. Focus on your breath, in and out. When your mind wanders, and it will, gently return to the breath. This isn't about perfection. It's about training. Each time you bring your mind back, you're doing a mental push-up. And over time, your ability to focus grows stronger. Technique 5. Write a daily focus list. Don't start your day by jumping into your inbox. Start it by defining your focus. Try this. Each morning, write down your top 3 priorities for the day. Under each one, break it into smaller steps. Keep the list visible as you work. This small act of planning gives your brain a roadmap. It reduces decision fatigue and increases clarity. Ask yourself, what are the 3 things that will truly move me forward today? Then focus on those. First, Technique 6. The one thing rule. One of the most powerful focus habits is simple. Do one thing at a time. It sounds easy, but it's rare. Here's how to practice it. If you're writing, just write. If you're reading, just read. If you're eating, don't scroll your phone. Every time you catch yourself switching tasks, pause. Say one thing only. Then return. You'll feel calmer. You'll go deeper. You'll finish faster. Technique 7. Protect the first hour of your day. The first hour of your day sets the tone for everything that follows. Protect it like gold. Avoid checking your phone first thing, scrolling through news or social media, reacting to other people's problems. Instead, stretch, breathe, read, journal. Choose your focus for the day. When you begin your day with intention, you take control, and focus flows more naturally. Story. The high school student who changed his brain. Here's a real example. A 17-year-old student used to fail his math exams, not because he didn't understand, but because he couldn't concentrate. He would check his phone every few minutes, start homework, then switch to games. His grades dropped. His confidence fell. One day, his teacher gave him a challenge. Try 10 minutes of silent study, no phone, each day for 1 week. He tried. It was hard. But by the end of the week, he felt something shift. The next week, he increased to 20 minutes, then 30. Within 3 months, he could study for 2 full hours, focused and calm. His grades rose. His stress dropped. His brain had changed because he trained it 1 minute at a time. Build a focus-friendly environment. Your environment influences your mind. If your desk is messy, your mind feels messy. If your phone is buzzing, your thoughts get scattered. So design your space for clarity. Keep your desk clean and minimal. Use calming colors or a candle. Face away from distractions. Play soft instrumental music if it helps. Use natural light when possible. Create a space that says, "This is where I focus. This is where I grow." Track your focus like a scientist. Want to improve something? Measure it. Each evening, reflect. What was my most focused moment today? What distracted me most? How can I improve tomorrow? Write it down. Awareness creates change. You don't need to be perfect. Just 1% better each day. Reflection question. Ask yourself, if I improved my focus by just 10%, what would change in my life? Would your work improve? Would your stress reduce? Would your dreams get closer? Small improvements in focus lead to big results over time. Final thought for today. Training your focus is not about working harder. It's about working smarter, with more peace, more clarity, more presence. Start small, stay consistent, and soon you'll become the kind of person who can tune out the noise and build something truly meaningful. In the next part, we'll talk about long-term focus. How to stay on track even when life gets hard, results come slowly, or motivation disappears. So stay with me, because your focus journey is just getting started. Part 4. Focus and long-term goals. In our last episode, we talked about practical techniques to improve your daily focus, how to train your attention like a muscle. But now, let's talk about the long game. Because while daily focus helps you finish your tasks, long-term focus helps you shape your life. It's one thing to concentrate for 30 minutes. It's another thing to stay committed for 3 months, or 3 years, or a lifetime. So how do we stay focused on what really matters, especially when the road gets hard? Let's dive in. Short-term focus versus long-term vision. Short-term focus is about getting today's work done. It's task-oriented, practical, immediate. Long-term focus is different. It's about building something that lasts. It requires vision, patience, and persistence. Think of it like planting a tree. Daily focus, yes, watering the tree. Long-term focus, staying committed to its growth, even when it hasn't given fruit yet. Many people give up because they only focus on results. When results are slow, they feel discouraged. But if you focus on the process, not just the prize, you stay in the game. The path is not a straight line. Let's be honest. Long-term goals are hard. There are ups and downs. You'll feel tired, unmotivated, and even lost at times. That's normal. The journey to anything meaningful is never a straight line. It's more like a winding road with turns, detours, and roadblocks. But the people who succeed, they stay focused through all of it. They remember, this is part of the process. I will keep going. Clarity. Know your why. The first key to long-term focus is clarity. Ask yourself, why am I doing this? What does success look like to me? How will my life change if I stay consistent? Your why is your emotional anchor. It keeps you grounded when motivation fades. For example, a student may say, I want to master English to study abroad and help my family. An entrepreneur may say, I want to create freedom and make a difference. When your why is strong, your how becomes easier. You don't quit when it's hard because you know what's at stake. Visualize your future self. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine yourself 1 year from now. You stayed focused. You showed up daily. You didn't give up. What does your life look like now? Can you see it? This is the power of visualization. Top athletes and performers use it all the time. Because when you see your goal clearly, your brain begins to believe it's possible. And belief drives focus. So take time to visualize regularly. Let your future self guide your present actions. Break big goals into small steps. One reason people lose focus is that their goal feels too big, too far, too overwhelming. That's why you need to chunk your goals. Break them into steps. Let's say your long-term goal is to speak English fluently. Don't focus on that whole mountain. Focus on the next stone. This week, learn 20 new words. This month, finish 1 podcast series. This quarter, have a conversation with a native speaker. Each small win builds confidence. Each step keeps you moving. Big goals are built from small, consistent actions. Embrace the boring middle. Every long-term journey has an exciting beginning and a rewarding end. But in the middle, it gets boring. Progress feels slow. Results aren't visible. Motivation disappears. This is where most people quit. But this is also where transformation happens. Quietly. If you can stay focused through the boring middle, you will outperform 90% of people who stop too soon. Remember, boredom is not a sign to quit. It's a sign that you're getting closer. Create systems, not just goals. Goals are helpful, but systems keep you on track. A goal says, I want to write a book. A system says, I write 300 words every day at 7 a.m. A goal says, I want to get fit. A system says, I walk 30 minutes after lunch 5 days a week. When you focus only on results, you feel pressure. But when you focus on systems, you feel progress. Systems create structure, and structure supports focus. Review and adjust regularly. Life changes. So do you. So it's important to pause and reflect. Is this goal still aligned with my values? What's working? What's not? How can I improve my focus this month? You don't need to stay rigid. You can adapt, while still staying focused on your bigger picture. A plane doesn't fly in a straight line. It makes small adjustments along the way, but it still reaches its destination. You can too. Real story. The man who wrote 1 page a day. There was once a man who wanted to write a novel, but he had a full-time job, 3 kids, and very little time. So he made a simple rule. I will write 1 page every night, no matter what. Some nights he was tired. Some nights the writing felt bad, but he kept going. 1 year later, he had 365 pages, a complete novel. His friends were amazed. How did you write a book while working and raising kids? He smiled and said, I didn't write a book. I wrote 1 page a day. That's long-term focus in action. How to stay focused during setbacks. Let's be real. Setbacks will happen. You'll miss days. You'll make mistakes. You'll feel like giving up. But here's the mindset shift. A bad day doesn't mean a bad journey. A missed step doesn't mean failure. Falling is normal. Getting up is powerful. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be persistent. When you fall, forgive yourself. Refocus. Begin again. Discipline versus motivation. Motivation is great, but it's temporary. It comes and goes like the weather. Discipline is what keeps you moving when motivation disappears. It's the voice that says, I don't feel like it, but I'll do it anyway. Discipline builds character. It builds self-respect. And it builds a track record that keeps you focused long after your mood changes. So ask yourself each morning, what would the focused version of me do today? Then do that, even if just for 15 minutes. Reflection questions. What's one long-term goal I've been avoiding? And why? What small daily habit could move me closer to that goal? What distractions or doubts do I need to let go of? Write your answers. Speak them out loud. Let them guide your next step. Final thought for today. Long-term focus is not about being perfect every day. It's about showing up, especially on the days you don't feel like it. It's about remembering why you started. Even when the finish line feels far, it's about choosing progress over perfection, process over pressure, vision over noise. When you stay focused for the long run, you don't just build results, you build resilience, character, and a future you'll be proud of. In our final part, we'll explore the emotional benefits of focus. How focus not only helps your goals, but heals your mind, sharpens your relationships, and deepens your peace. Stay with me. Your journey is worth it. Part 5. The emotional power of focus. Today, we've arrived at the final part of our journey. A journey not just through productivity, but through something deeper. Because focus isn't only about doing more. It's about feeling more, living more, being more. In this part, we'll talk about the emotional and spiritual power of focus, how it heals your mind, strengthens your relationships, and brings peace into your everyday life. Focus and inner peace. Let's begin with a simple truth. A distracted mind is an anxious mind. When your attention jumps from one thing to another, you feel overwhelmed, scattered, restless. But when you focus deeply on one thing, even for just 10 minutes, something magical happens. Your breathing slows down. Your thoughts quiet. You feel present. That's peace. And it begins with focus. You don't need a retreat. You don't need to escape the world. Just pick one thing and give it your full presence. Even washing dishes can become a moment of calm if you do it with full attention. Focus improves relationships. Now let's talk about how focus affects your relationships. Have you ever talked to someone who was physically present, but mentally somewhere else? It hurts, right? Now flip the question. Have you ever been that person? In a world full of phones and notifications, giving someone your full attention is a rare and beautiful gift. Try this. When your child talks to you, put your phone away. When your partner shares something, look them in the eyes. When a friend needs you, listen. Without planning your reply. That is focus. That is love. That is human connection. Focus builds self-respect. When you say, I will focus on this, and you actually do, you send a powerful message to yourself. I can trust me. And over time, that builds self-respect. And self-respect becomes self-love. And self-love becomes confidence. You stop chasing external validation. You start standing tall, knowing you show up for yourself. This quiet confidence stays with you, in your work, in your words, in your walk. It all begins with small acts of focus, repeated with care, a real moment, from chaos to clarity. Let me tell you a short, true story. There was a young woman who always felt anxious. Her life looked fine from the outside, but inside her mind was always racing. She tried yoga, she tried journaling, but nothing worked. One day she read a quote, "Where your attention goes, your energy flows." It clicked. She started doing just one thing at a time. Drinking tea without checking her phone. Writing without music or background noise. Walking slowly, noticing each step. She called it her focus ritual. And after just 1 month, she felt calmer, happier, more in control of her life. Focus didn't change her problems. It changed her. Focus and the present moment. So many people spend life trapped in the past or worrying about the future. But real life only happens here, now, in this breath, in this word, in this moment. And the key to the present moment is focus. Try this. Right now, feel your feet on the floor. Notice your breath. Notice the sounds around you. You're here, not yesterday, not tomorrow, now. That's the gift of focus. It returns you to life. Focus, freedom. At first, focus feels like a limitation. You mean I can only do one thing? But in truth, focus is freedom. Freedom from overwhelm. Freedom from comparison. Freedom from noise. It gives you control over your life, over your choices, over your future. And that, my friend, is real power. Final reflection. Let's pause and reflect together. What have you learned about yourself in this series? What is one area of your life that needs more focus? What would your life look like if you gave it your full attention? Let the answers come. Let them guide your next step. Because your life, your true life, begins where your focus lives. Conclusion. Your focus, your future. We've come to the end of this journey together. But really, this is just the beginning. You've learned that focus is not something you're born with. It's something you build. You shape. You protect. Each moment you choose focus over distraction, clarity over chaos, presence over pressure. You become more of who you're meant to be. So here's my final invitation. Protect your focus. It is your most valuable resource. It is your key to peace, to purpose. And remember this, when you focus on what truly matters, everything else falls into place. Before you go, if this episode helped you slow down, think deeper, or feel inspired, click on the next video to continue your journey. Each one is crafted to help you grow in focus, in English, and in life. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. That way, you won't miss any new episodes on self-growth, clarity, and powerful English practice. Thank you for being here. You matter. Your focus matters. And I'll see you in the next one. Until then, think clearly, live fully, and lead with love.